I want to change the way you think about emotional eating, binge eating, and chronic dieting for good. If you're like most people, or like I was for 30 years, you may think the way to overcome challenges with food is through willpower and control. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Willpower and control actually exacerbate your challenges with food, and the sooner you stop using these approaches, the sooner you can heal your relationship with food and start experiencing food and body freedom, the byproduct of which is weight loss, health, and true well-being. I'm Lori Montry, a trauma-informed eating psychology coach, and I teach a highly effective nervous system and behavior change method for ending emotional eating and other food challenges. Now, as I said a moment ago, willpower and control are not the solution to unwanted patterns with food. If they were, you would have fixed all of your issues a long time ago. In reality, willpower and control steal your ability to focus on the tools and practices that will work. So you might be saying, okay, smarty pants, if willpower and control doesn't work, what does? And I'm really glad you asked. The 3 keys to food and body freedom are the following. Number 1, overriding habituated pathways that send you straight to food when certain cues are present. This involves cultivating tools and practices that allow you to stay present and conscious instead of shifting into autopilot. Mastering this key means you're no longer snacking on unhealthy foods at night while you watch TV. You no longer mindlessly find yourself getting seconds of food or grabbing for the afternoon sweet to keep you going. Key number 2 is learning to calm stress, anxiety, and overwhelm, so you aren't using food to bring relief. A dysregulated nervous system is one of the primary reasons we humans reach for food. Food releases feel-good chemicals in the brain. Chewing and swallowing vibrates your vagus nerve, which helps calm your system. It helps your body shift into parasympathetic as the body begins to digest the food. Emotional eating can regulate an activated nervous system. However, when you're already feeling calm and resourced and secure, you don't look to food to do that for you. And the 3rd key is learning to feel and process your emotions so you stop using food to cope, numb, or avoid those emotions. I mean, imagine being able to navigate feelings of boredom, stress, not being enough, worry, anxiety, loneliness, sadness, anger, or grief without needing food to escape. When you have effective tools for riding the waves of your emotions, you don't want to avoid them any longer. And these 3 keys are the foundation of my Freedom from Emotional Eating program, and they work for anyone to overcome challenges with food. But there's one more essential aspect of the journey that you need in order to be successful. I actually just did a whole video on this very topic a few weeks ago, and I encourage you to go back and watch it. But in summary, I shared that early on in my practice, I noticed there were 2 groups of people. Those who were able to use the tools I was offering, and those that couldn't get themselves to be consistent with the tools on a regular basis. Those that used the tools, they would go on to have tremendous success. Their relationship with food changed. They would achieve freedom. They'd lose weight and go on to a whole new life. Those who couldn't stick with the tools, they assumed they were the problem. They desperately wanted to change, but they weren't able to consistently implement what I was teaching them. So naturally, they stayed stuck. So again, the 2 groups of people were those who were using the tools and having success, and those who weren't able to be consistent with the tools, not having success. No one was in the middle saying, well, I'm using the tools, but they aren't working for me. So based on this data and the work I'd done with myself, I knew I had the right tools. And I really believe that if those who couldn't get themselves to use the tools could figure out why, they would have the same success. So I set about trying to figure out what made it so challenging for this group of people to use the tools in the first place. Now, again, if I had asked them, they would have said they were lazy or they were broken or some other lie. But I didn't believe that. I could see they really wanted change, but just had nothing to give. And that's when I took a deeper dive into trauma, the nervous system, and all things somatic. I learned the reason why some of my clients couldn't implement the tools I was teaching was because they had dysregulated nervous systems that were stuck in survival. Yeah, they were in absolute overwhelm and literally couldn't take on anything else. Many of them didn't realize it because they had become so normalized to this way of being. But no matter how much they wanted to change, without capacity, change simply wasn't possible for them. Without capacity, they couldn't form new neural pathways that gave them a choice in triggered moments with food. They couldn't calm their stress and overwhelmed nervous systems, and they certainly couldn't sit with uncomfortable emotions that felt way too much to handle. But by working with their nervous systems first, helping them heal from trauma, giving them back capacity, they were able to be consistent with the tools and the practices, and they too were able to change their behavior with food. Now, the 3 keys that I mentioned above are essential to change your behavior with food. But if you don't have capacity, you can't work with these keys. You can't achieve these 3 keys no matter how badly you want them. If you don't have capacity, you're not even going to remember that you have a choice. And that's why you feel like you've gone on autopilot when it comes to food. And this is why you may feel completely checked out at times and make decisions with food that leave you feeling really frustrated later. Before you can do the real underlying work necessary to overcome emotional eating and other behaviors that you know aren't serving you, you have to first build the capacity to do so. If you're interested in this information and you'd like to learn more about the 3 keys and how to build the capacity to implement the 3 keys, I'm offering a live half-day workshop on October the 12th so we can dive deep into what it really takes to overcome emotional eating once and for all. You can check out the workshop and get signed up just below this video. In this workshop, you're going to learn how to build capacity and much more about the exact 3 keys that will allow you to take back your control with food, lose weight, and find freedom. So check out the link, and I'd love to see you there.